back again, and this time I've got Rudeon Snell, one of our other esteemed alumni, who has done very well in the marketplace as well. Currently, if I must just read this, it's a very long title. He's the Principal Enterprise Strategy at Microsoft. And Rudy graduated in 2012, and we have been in contact ever since. And he's also a big change maker in the marketplace out there. Rudy, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
And share a few thoughts with our newcomers. And perhaps by way of introduction, to share briefly your experience of your MBA journey.
Yeah, so again, thank you very much for having me. Hi there, guys. I hope you know what you have chewed off in embarking on this journey. To briefly answer your question, Doc, I think for me the MBA journey has really been a journey of self-discovery. I've realized two major things throughout the process, and if I can briefly just touch on those. The one was really about learning to trust yourself and trusting your ability to get your desired outcomes regardless of the situation you find yourself in. And the other one that really came through for me strongly during the course of the program is that perfection is a fallacy. Really it's about understanding the concept of good enough and accepting that for what it is.
Okay.
So those were the two major learnings that really came through the MBA program for me.
Awesome. And if you reflect back, what did you experience as the most challenging part of the MBA, and how did you deal with it?
So the most challenging part for me during the course of the MBA was actually the people aspect of it. Okay. What I mean by that is finding a team that you actually gel with and work well with, and using that cohesive unit for the benefit of everybody as you move forward throughout this journey. I think one of the things that you should be very clear on up front is your expectations of each other as a team, and try and get the most diverse team that you can in terms of skill sets. So when you look at strategy, when you look at finance, when you look at operations management, those aspects really complement each other, even though the natural inclination might be for you to be with somebody that's in the same discipline or skill as you because of the affinity. So that's something I really found quite challenging and which we kind of overcame throughout the process.
All right, awesome. Really knowing you as a very detailed-oriented individual and planning things, how did you balance the demands between studies, family, and work?
Yeah. So I mean that's a critical thing, and I think every MBA student faces that challenge. I'll be blunt about this. The real question I asked myself was, what's this MBA worth to me? And when you start off on the journey, you need to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze for you. And what I mean by that is that bluntly put, there's really not that big a difference between 50% and 74%. Your certificate that you get at the end of the day doesn't tell you what percentage it is, it just says pass. And you need to accept that reality, because I've seen people kill themselves and kill their family life for an additional 5%. So ask yourself whether or not that really is worth it, and ask yourself also what you are prepared to give up for the goal that you wish to achieve. And be honest with yourself. And I think that's something that you need to, each and every person needs to answer for themselves in order to make this a success.
Okay. And in these in the journey of the 13, 14 odd modules, each of them having content to work through, each of them having an assignment, each of them having an examination, and taking 4 at a time as an example. How did you deal with structuring your life in planning the reading time, the study time, working on assignments, and the exam preparation?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for me, I think staying abreast of real world matters, that I found quite useful, and applying that then into your context of what you're studying. So just spending time actually reading, dedicate the time. You always find a situation where you don't have the time, but how can you ever have the time if you never make the time?
Correct, yeah.
So very important to make the time necessary just to stay abreast of real world matters. And then I'm a conceptual thinker, so for me it's important to deal in those concepts and then apply the concepts throughout your course as you engage with them. And the last thing that I found was preparing up front a structure for how you go about answering certain questions. I found that it's not really, during the course of the MBA, it's not really about answering right or wrong, but it's about following a certain framework by which you make an argument, and that then is used to either substantiate or convince the marker of your point of view. And I found that quite useful.
Wonderful. Now, really, you are now 3 years down the line since you graduated.
Yeah.
If you now think back, and I ask you today, was it worth it?
So yes, in short, definitely. Look, the MBA has always been a goal that I've set for myself. I've always told myself I want to come up through the technology ranks and then reach across into business and understand that world. And the MBA was for me the vehicle that made that a reality. I think an MBA is still critical in the sense that not only does it provide you with the almost rite of passage that you have in the real world, but it also gives you insights and just teaches you fundamental lessons about the corporate world and how to survive in that, that no other course that I've seen teaches you. So the lessons that you learn throughout your MBA, not so much the content or the modules, but the actual lessons about self-discovery, about how to engage with people you don't always get along with, how to work together towards a desired outcome. Those sorts of things are lessons that stay with you throughout the course of your career. So, Juice was definitely worth the service.
Really, and perhaps in conclusion, if you can share a tip or two to the new guys to take with them, what would that be?
So I think I alluded to this earlier. Really answer the question for yourself: what are you willing to give up for your MBA, and what are you not willing to compromise on? And have a frank discussion with your partner and your family about this journey that you're embarking on, because it's going to be life-changing. So if you answer that question for yourself and you're honest about that, then I think you'll be well settled for the road ahead.
Okay. Rudeon, thank you so much.
And thank you for having me talk.
I'm sure that the new guys have got something to take away with from here on. And again, thank you. Looking forward to our next engagement.
All the best, guys. It's a wonderful experience that you are going to be embarking on. It's certainly going to be life-changing. I know you'll make a success of it at the end of the day. Thanks.
Fantastic.